Thanks for tuning in to this race day edition here on Mystery Caution as we get ready for the Coke 600 coming up a little bit later on tonight. The Indy 500 is actually getting started in just a couple of minutes as I record this at 12:40 Eastern. And we're going to do a very quick prep for this race today. We waited until race day because of the late qualifying run last night. So we went ahead and decided, let's wait for the odds to come out. And so that gives us a little bit of an advantage as well. So let's get right into it. Remind everybody, please subscribe to the channel. We are a long way away from reaching our goal of 1,000 subscribers. So in order for us to keep this channel rolling, we've got to get those subscribers up to 1,000. And we've got to at least see some good movement here to know that you guys appreciate what we're doing. We had a really good run of traffic at Darlington a couple of weeks ago, and yet the difference between the viewers and the subscribers were not very good. So hopefully, again, if you really enjoy what we're doing, please subscribe. Okay, let's get this thing rolling. Now, we're going to first start with the updated odds. So let's go ahead and check that out from DraftKings. There you go. Kyle Larson, big surprise. He's still the favorite at 5-1. Truex is now at 6-1 as well. He should be, and we'll go into that, of course, as we take a look at the qualifying and practice results. Ty Gibbs, now here's interesting. Ty Gibbs is 7-1 at DraftKings, yet at Bovada, the sports book that I still use, he's still at 12-1. He started at 14-1 on Tuesday. How about that? Very big. That's the biggest difference I noticed between DraftKings and Bovada. You see Hamlin, Elliott, still at 8-1, even though we'll get into his pretty weak practice run. Reddick is a bargain. Busch is still about the same. And pretty much everybody. I mean, Busch is 15-1 after wrecking in practice. Not sure what that's about. Chastain and Bubba Wallace, I think they're the best bargains overall at 25 and 35-1. Here you see the rest. Most of these drivers here don't have a shot. Matter of fact, if we take a look here, the one that probably is the best is McDowell, because once again, he had a good qualifying run. But besides that, his practice speeds, not good. So I wouldn't even go his way at all. Okay, let's go ahead now and check him out, shall we? Starting with practice. So let's check out practice, care of J-Ski. And there we go. William Byron was the fastest at practice, all right? And he had a really good day. Reddick, excellent at second. Matter of fact, we talked about Reddick as being a pretty good number at 8-1 on Tuesday. We didn't like it at 6-1 or even 7. 8's okay. It's okay. I'd still like it to be like 10, which, by the way, it is at Bovada. But 8, okay, we were all right with that. Excuse me, I shouldn't say at Bovada. Actually, 8, it's at 10 at both Bovada and DraftKings. So I love that. I love the fact that Reddick was second in practice, and yet his numbers went from 8 to 10-1. So love that. Really like Reddick today. And then here you go with the rest. Look at Carson Hocevar. He still is having a nice little rookie season. Gibbs, Larson. Everybody's talking about Kyle Larson today again. Look at Chris Buescher. Now, what would have happened if Chris Buescher didn't crash in practice? Because we really liked them on Tuesday. And we're going to have a link in the description, so check that out. If you just scroll down from this video, you'll see a link. You can check that out. You go ahead and click that, and you'll be able to watch our Tuesday show where we go over everything for this race. Okay. And by the way, that's going to be from, I believe, our Prime Sports Network channel. So we're going to send you over to our primary channel at Prime Sports Network, where we posted the NASCAR video earlier in the week. All right. Hold on a second as the wind blows some of my paperwork around. Let's now move on to... Actually, let's keep scrolling down here because just for practice alone, you could see here Joey Logano a disappointing 28th, Chase Elliott a very disappointing 31st. All right, so that's practice. Now we're going to see what they did in qualifying. All right, so here we go. Ty Gibbs going from 5th practice to the 1st fastest at qualifying. Next up, William Byron. After fastest in practice, he was 2nd in qualifying. Surprised, though, that even though he's the fastest car combined from both runs, practice and qualifying, he's not the favorite of this race. Then you see Christopher Bell, who did a really good job of improving his practice from 11th to qualifying 3rd. And of course, I like Bell this week. I told you it's more of a gut feeling that I like Bell, and so far so good. So, and not that Bell doesn't have some sort of history at this track, Xfinity Cup. It's okay, but it's nothing that says, well, why do you like him so much? I don't know. I just have a little gut feeling about Christopher Bell this week. All right, there you got Truex. We're going to talk more about him. Elliott, now, after a very disappointing run in practice at 31st, he did a really good job to get up to 5th in qualifying, but still, he's got a lot to make up with that 31st in practice, which, of course, is the longer run. But then again, the way they set things up nowadays, you really don't know. We don't get really into that here on this show. We don't have the time to do that. But the fact is, I'd look a little bit better than 8-1 after 31st in practice. Let's see, Bowman, after a disappointing 20th practice run, very good, just like his buddy Elliott, 6th. Chastain has been solid in both. Reddick is solid in both, even though he was better in qualifying, still top 10 in practice. In qualifying. Larson, same thing. 6th in practice, 10th in qualifying. Hamlin, not so fast. He'll start 11th. It was just outside the top 10 to get into that opportunity to be on the pole, didn't do that, but he was also 15th in practice, so I don't really think that matters much. If you're a Denny Hamlin guy, go for it, but he's 7-1, so you're really not getting anything out of it. Bubba, still really like Bubba. He was 3rd fastest in practice. Yes, he didn't get into the top 10, but still a very solid 12th run. We liked him in the beginning of the week. Both CJ and I as a long shot. Like him even more now at 35-1. Kyle Busch, so-so, 13th practice, 15th qualifying, 13-1, nothing changed much. It came down a little bit. I still have a good feeling. I like Kyle Busch this week. Blaney, I'm not sure what's going on there with Blaney, but you know what? Being a Blaney fan, I'm more concerned about how things go in the second half of the season, so I'm all right with all this. I still think he could end up in the top 10 after a pretty slow combo practice and qualifying sessions. Let's see. And anybody else that sticks out? Look at Joey Logano and Brett Keselowski. I mean, they just did not have anything so far. Keselowski a little bit better because he was 14th in practice. Okay, so let's now talk about some of the key trends to keep an eye on as far as qualifying and practice. You have Toyota, 3 of the top 4 in qualifying, including the pole sitter, Ty Gibbs. So that's big. Combine that with the fact that they were 3 of the top 5 fastest in practice. So Toyota right now has got the edge. But Chevy is not that far behind. So I wouldn't get too crazy about just jumping all over Toyota and then just leave Chevy out. I wouldn't do that because if you look at it, in practice, Chevy was 3 of the top 6, including the fastest car. That was William Byron. And as far as the qualifying run, if you take a look at how, just making sure I've got the right information here, Chevy, of course, Byron was second. He was the second fastest overall as a Chevy. But if you look at it, out of the top 7 drivers in practice, Chevy had 4. All right, 4 of the top 7 in practice, including second fastest William Byron. So Toyota, better. Chevy, close by. Ford, not so good. No drivers in the top 8 in qualifying. And as far as practice is concerned, they were a little bit better. Let's see, their top was Buescher in the top. He was 7th, but he was also the only Ford in the top 13. So this is definitely a week that I'm avoiding Ford. Forget it. Not interested in Ford. But we're going into this now where we're going to say who are going to be our top picks. Well, earlier in the week, I had Elliott, Bell, and Buescher as my top 3. Kyle, Busch, and Wallace were my long shots. Also thought Ricky Stenhouse could be a cute long shot, but forget him now. He doesn't look. He hasn't really looked good so far. Okay, but now we take a look at our observations today. And again, I can't take Elliott because of that practice run, so I'm gonna pass on him at 8-1 today. I still really like Bell because I'm getting 13-1 on Bell. Third fastest in qualifying, 11th fastest in practice. And if you take a look at Bell, again, like I said, his overall numbers here, he only has one top 5, but that was one of the 2 next-gen cars. And remember this, in his 2 runs with the next-gen, he was 24th and 5th. Now, when he was 24th, he started 9th, and he led 48 laps. So in both races with next-gen, he had significant results. And in the 2, actually, he had 3 Xfinity races at this track. He was on the pole once, led 31 laps before he wrecked. The other 2 were top 5s. So again, I like Bell here. I like the odds. It's a gut feeling, mostly. All right. Also, I'd have to take a look at, let's just go down the line of some of these others. Gibbs. The fact that I looked at Bovada and saw him at 12-1, definitely he's got to be a play. I guess it depends on what book you have. If you have him at 7-1, I'd be a little apprehensive because he was 14-1 on Tuesday. And I'm just not going to take Ty Gibbs in a long race. He hasn't won before. That's a lot, asking a lot for someone to break his maiden in the longest race of the season, which you would think would favor the more experienced drivers and so forth. I don't know. I think Gibbs is still a good shot at 12-1. Don't like him so much when I've got to give up half of my odds at 7-1. Byron, absolutely a must play at 7-1. Truex also, I think, is a must play. I know the 6-1 is not where you want to see him, but keep in mind, and this is also the thing that I'd be a little bit apprehensive about, is that he was 11-1 to start the week. Okay, and it was 11-1 for a reason. Even though he has 3 wins here and 8 top 5s and over 1,000 laps led, he hasn't led a lap in 4 races, including, of course, with the next gen. But he was 3rd last year in this race, even though we didn't lead a lap. So yes, 11-1, that's good. 6-1, not so much. But what I like about him is, remember we talked about how he has not qualified and practiced well over the last, a month or so. And now he's got a great combo of, very good, considering where he's been lately. Practice and qualifying much better this week. So because of that, I'm a lot more interested in him. And to tell you the truth, this is somebody I'm willing to take that sacrifice. Gibbs, no. Okay, I told you, inexperience and all that kind of stuff. Truex, though, he's been so close this year. And it's not as much. It's not 50%, 14-7. This is 11-6. So Truex, I'd be willing to go ahead and take a shot at today. All right. Also, Reddick, really like Reddick at 10-1. Really like him. Starting 8th, 2nd in practice. Reddick, if you take a look at his career here, 4 top 10s, 1 top 5, and 5. So he's always in the running basically here. He was 5th and 6th in the next gen, led at least 19 laps in both races from the next gen. And he also started 8th in 2022. And he led 19 laps in that race, finished 6th, where he starts here 8th. But keep in mind, I don't know what he practiced there, but he was just about the fastest in practice. So that's an improvement too. Keep in mind, 2nd at Vegas, 4th at Texas. These are the similar 1.5-mile tracks that we talked about on Tuesday. 2 top 5s out of 4 in the Xfinity Series, and most important, a win in 2019 in the Xfinity Series at Charlotte. So yes, 10-1, really like Reddick. And of course, on top, he's driving a Toyota. And then speaking of Toyotas, really like Bubba Wallace now at 35-1. We liked them as a long shot on Tuesday, and that was because he finished 4th last year, which was his best finish. And if you also look at this, look, I'm not going to get into the little details. You want to find out, watch the show that we talked about on Tuesday, because I'm kind of running out of time here. The one thing, though, that I'd be a little bit concerned with is that he started 7th in the 2 next-gen races. All right, here he starts 12th, so it's not as good. But the fact that he's practiced 3rd, I would take a look and see what he practiced at the last 2 years. And if he did not practice anywhere near as strong as he did this week, then that would just really make me want to take Bubba Wallace at 35 to 1. Again, we're going to take Kyle Busch. I think he's a solid play at 13 to 1. I don't think Ryan Blaney should be 12 to 1, so I don't think he's much of a bargain there. Even though, considering he was so dominant here last year when nobody thought, he was 22 to 1 when he won last year. So you can't forget about Ryan Blaney. The fact is, though, he's driving a Ford, and you're only getting 12 to 1. And Chastain's the other long shot. He's 25 to 1. Both sessions were in the top 10. Taking a look, though, overall, he has one good run, and that was 2022 when he led 153 laps, and he started 22nd in that race. So he does have a moment here. And I look at Chastain, 25 to 1, 2 top 10 runs. Yeah, I mean, I think that's a pretty good bargain. Why not? Is he one of my top plays? No, but I'm getting 25 to 1, so I think that's definitely a driver to consider. By the way, Hamlin 7 to 1 I mentioned, Larson 5 to 1. Forget it. There's no way I'm taking Kyle Larson at 5 to 1. Tell me this: would Kyle Larson be 4 to 1 or 3 to 1 if he was not racing in the Indy 500? Of course he wouldn't. Why? He hasn't shown the top speeds. Is he in the top 10 at both sessions? Yes. Is he in the top 5? No. So why on earth, when he has no top 5 runs in practice or qualifying, and keep this in mind too, the major reason why Kyle Larson is considered, a viable favorite this week is because of the fact that he's been really strong this year on the similar tracks, winning Vegas and winning Kansas. That is big. Okay, but he only has one win and 2 top 5s in 14 races, and basically had one good run at this track in 14 career runs. Just one. That's when he dominated 327 or 400 laps in the 2000 and what race was that? I forget now. Anyway, and that's it. That was it. That was his big run. The last 2 with the next gen, he crashed and finished 9th. Now, he's a little bit better speed-wise in this race than he was setting up for those races, but 5 to 1, and he's got a race at Indianapolis earlier in the day. I'm not getting a break here on the odds. That's crazy. Forget it. There's no value. All right, that's going to wrap it up. Again, check out the link in the description for our full detailed video of the race from Prime Sports Network, and check us back out on Tuesday on I don't know where we're going to be. Maybe Prime Sports Network. That's why you got to subscribe to both Prime Sports Network and to Mystery Caution. But look, if you are just a NASCAR fan, F1 fan and such, and that's all you're into, then subscribe here more than anything, because we're always going to provide links for you over on Prime Sports Network, our primary channel, which has all sorts of sports, including motorsports. So next week, we are going to be talking about the race in, Illinois? Yeah, St. Louis. Yeah, that's a pretty bad race as far as I remember, but I'm not going to worry about that now. I'm just going to sit back and enjoy the Coke 600 coming up a little bit later on today here. So best of luck, everybody out there. Don't forget not only to subscribe, but share your comments. Let us know who you're going to be picking for the race today, and hit that like button as well, and we'll see you next time.